Hello and welcome back to Unreal Engine 5, Blueprint Mastery, Door Systems and Interactive Portals. Previously, we created our manager and we started our button. So, our manager is consisting of a puzzle piece map that in one variable we have the buttons that need to be in a specific order, and the second variable that is a boolean which we turn on and off by adding it. And we are adding it because as a map property, if we are adding the same element, then it just changes the value. Now, the same we are doing for removing, not removing, turning it off the value, the second value, the boolean, with adding it again, but adding it off. In a function that's called puzzle solved, we got the values of the map and we check if the arrays, and we checked if the arrays are identical to the correct password array. Make sure that you have selected each button in a correct order when you were adding them on the map puzzle pieces. Now, then we went on and copied some code in our button, basically the behavior of the box, so that when we overlap the box, we are enabling input and updating the widget and adding it to the viewport and removing it from the viewport. And we also changed the update widget to say turn off and turn on. Now, let's continue with our pressing E event that we are checking if the timeline is playing. If it's not playing, we are playing a sound and we are turning the button on and off. Now, I said that this timeline needs a few explanations. Why we play from play and reverse? And to be honest, even if I had them this way, it wouldn't really matter. Because what we will do inside the timeline is we're going to create a flow track that starts from 0, goes up high in 1, and then goes back to 0. So, first variable would be 0, second variable, let's say, for a button, let's say the total should be a quarter of a second, like it's a button. So, 0.12, somewhere there, 0.12. Let's say 0.12, value is 1, and then at 0.24, value is 0 again. Let's feed it to screen. And you see, it didn't feed it completely because I had selected this one. So to feed them all, I'm selecting them all and then feeding them. And select use last keyframe. Now, since we got this up and down, it doesn't really matter if I'm playing it reverse or playing it from the beginning. It matters if it was the first, actually this is what it matters, the first time it shouldn't be reverse, it should be on play. Because if the first time would be here, it would actually want play. So yeah, the first time matters. The first time matters to be from play. So from false, we're turning it on and we're playing. Now for the movement, we're gonna get our top mesh and let's go bring it over here. I'll drag and drop it. I'm gonna set relative location. We're gonna split this up. Let's check the location. It's 0, 0, 0. So if I move it this way, minus 1.6. I think that's a little bit low. It won't show much. So maybe at least 3. Minus 3. Yeah, I think minus 3 is fine. So back to 0. And we're gonna lerp on the y direction from 0 to minus 0.3. And for the alpha, we're gonna connect this. And now, because we have this slide up here, it means that we go from 0 to minus 0.3 and back to 0. Now, Now, we have to indicate to the player that the button is on or off. So, we will get the static mesh, and on finish, we will change the material. So, we're gonna set material, and let's connect it to finish. And from material, we're gonna select, and the selection will be based on is on. And if it's false, it's gonna be the material it has now, which is this one. And if it's on, we must have a props on. So props on, here it is. So we put props on true and props off on false. Now, what we're gonna do is update our widget. So it turns on, it says turn on or turn off. And again, based on it's on, let's bring it again. We're gonna branch, and we're gonna get our manager, and we're gonna say button on if it's true, and button off if it's not true. And for the puzzle piece, we need a reference to this actor. So to do this, we're gonna just drag a cable and call self. And this is how we bring a reference to the actor that is doing something. Well, it requires to reference itself. So, retrospectively, these two could be the same event. Like if we had one event and it was adding or removing, and instead of checking for the puzzle piece, we were sending a boolean, and that boolean would be the is on, would work just as fine, but we wouldn't have used the map variable, which was a nice demonstration for this variable. So, or variable type, that's also valid. I think we can go and test it. So let's play. Let's move the player start over here. And at least I think we can press buttons. It's turning the widget off when we are pressing it. So, okay, after a little bit of soul searching, I figure out what's happening. And what's happening is that we copied the door. So when I call lock and unlock the door, if we go to the door's code, we are removing the widget. So this will be fixed when we fix the door. So our button is pretty much ready. We are pressing, it's turning green, we are pressing again, it's turning off. And let's not waste time, let's go start begin on the door. So let's open the door blueprint. We actually don't need a widget in this door, so we don't need even a collision cube. So all this code can go away. And also the game mode is not needed, but the relative location is not needed. So we're going to delete this also. Let's clear the variables. We actually don't need any of these variables. We can clear them all safely. Let's keep open angle, that we will rename it. We don't need this, we don't need the third person. We basically just need the door and the door angle. And we don't need the functions also. So, goodbye functions. So, let's remove door animation and let's just make the door unlock event, unlock door, because we copied and it deleted the events, and the lock door. And basically we don't need all this code. Also, we do need a branch, and we will change position in the end. We don't need the widget, and we don't need the door animation. So we're gonna bring these two events, and we're gonna keep the timeline and the code that comes with it. Now, we really don't care about the state because it's a direct message lock or unlock. We won't need this branch. We will keep this one, which has the code of is the timeline already playing. Let's bring it over here. And the reason we want this branch is because if the timeline is on 0 again, when we are locking the door, we shouldn't play again the lock animation. We shouldn't play not even the sound. So we're going to connect the false to the sound, and we're going to connect this to the sound, and we need to choose a sound. And the sound is slide door Q. So we're going to select it. And of course, for the locking side, we're going to change the multiplier to 0.8. When we unlock, we want to play. And when we lock, we want to reverse. There is some code here we don't need. And let's move this to the side because we need some room to do the same, almost the same, for the second part of the door. So I'm going to bring this here. I'm going to copy paste the set relative. I'm going to connect this here, connect this here. And I'm going to duplicate the lerp and connect it to Z. And also connect alpha. And this open angle, let's name it open displacement. And let's bring it over here and let's connect it here and here to B. So that's our target. Well, actually, one of them needs to be multiplied by -1. So let's check which one is which. So door number 1 is the bottom part. So this will be going down. And the displacement is around, no. This is also a lot. So we're going to -10 because it didn't start from the beginning. So yeah, -10 from 124. So 130. If I add 130 plus 130, that's 230. Plus 130. No, sorry, I did it wrong. I have to go in the end of this and add 130. Yep. So 254. See, 130 seems to be the trick. So let's go here. Let's say displacement. We need to compile. It's 130. And the second one is the first one. Yeah, the first one is the one that needs to be opposite. So we multiply this by -1 to make it negative. And we connect this here. So I think this is it. And we can go test it. Let's play. Let's put our own code first. No. No. It did something really weird. So, and to be honest, it makes sense because the values are not 0. We have not 0 out these values. And this is my bad. This was supposed to be the slide door, and I added the open up and down door. I don't know how to explain it. So I'm gonna actually delete the second part, and I'm gonna just put the correct door in. Gonna select the first part. And yeah, because this is the slide door. I'm gonna select this, find it in the browser, and put it over here. Fix the scale also. Now it was moving very slow because we have copied from the timeline from the sliding door, the up and so it's 5 seconds. We can change this to 0.5. And that would be it. And we do not need the second door set relative. So we connect back this here and delete the second lerp. And the displacement we'll see right now. And this should be on Y, not on Z. We're not going up and down, we are going left and right. So this would be it. So if this is on 0, 0, 0, let's say it moves here. So minus 140. So let's put minus 140 here. Minus 140. And compile and save. Let's go play. It's not correctly positioned. Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's play. All right. All right. It's working. Now, as you can see, because these two buttons are really close to each other, and if I eject and show collisions, when I exit this one, I have already entered this one. So it removes the widget. Let me demonstrate again. If I'm here and I go here, it removes the widget and we cannot see it. So what we can do is move this a little bit further, maybe here, move this a little bit further. And this would fix it. Another way to fix it would be to make a system that checks this out. I don't really hear a sound difference on unlock. Maybe this should be lower, 0.5. That's a lot. So let's leave it 0.7 and I think it's gonna be fine. And maybe the door should be a little bit slower. So let's make it 1 second. I think that's the amount of the sound playing should be the amount of the door moving. Yeah, maybe 1.2, but let's leave it as is. And we are ready for the next room, which would be the door that unlocks with an item. We won't be creating a whole inventory system. Let's bring this over here too. And we actually need a text here. So I'm going to copy this over here. And pretty much it's good. I'm just going to change the box size. And let's set it like this. That's fine. And let's change the text also to say solve the puzzle to open the door. And it's fine as is. Maybe double click it, move it a little bit further. Okay, it's fine. Now, next door. The next door will be using a inventory. And what is an inventory basically? Basically, it's a list, nothing else. Then you have in this list some elements. And from these elements, you either show them into a UI or you manipulate them through your game with other things. We won't be creating a UI that represents this list, but we will know that we have the item or not. So, we're gonna leave this for the next time. I'm gonna see you then. Goodbye.